We often find bones in archaeological sites while excavating ancient human settlements. Sometimes they belong to prehistoric animals that were hunted by people. But what if we tell you that sometimes archaeologists find bones that do not belong to any animal known to science? Does this mean that there were dinosaurs during the Stone Age? Maybe yes, maybe not. Stay with us until the end to find out about these amazing creatures. Woolly mammoth. When we think of the Ice Age, we always imagine icy tundras, snow-covered landscapes, dangerous predators, and their prey. But above all, we see woolly mammoths. They are truly the most famous mammals of that era. These heavyweights are one of the main symbols of the Ice Age, along with cavemen and saber-toothed tigers. This is mainly due to the numerous cave paintings depicting them which were made by early humans. However, it was still a real challenge for scientists to find their remains. The reason is that the woolly mammoth lived in northern Eurasia, and the tundra's permafrost didn't allow scientists to dig up the skeletons. But things changed when excavations revealed a well-preserved skeleton of a young female in Siberia. Thanks to this find, researchers learned that the mammoth was 20% taller than modern elephants. Its fur was so thick that it resembled a shaggy carpet. Also, it had more hair on its body than an elephant, and this helped it survive in the harsh conditions of the Ice Age. Although it looked like a hairy monster, the woolly mammoth was very similar to its relatives, the Asian elephant and the African bush elephant. And like other elephants, it was herbivorous. There is an opinion that it was very stupid. It was too lazy to look for food. It ate only the plants that grew near its home. Perhaps that's why it went extinct. Some experts believe that the woolly mammoth died out because people hunted it. However, it's also possible that climate change led to its disappearance. Giant ground sloth. Ground sloths were large, furry mammals that lived in America during the Pleistocene epoch. They belonged to the family of Xenarthra, which includes anteaters and armadillos. They were very slow, clumsy, but at the same time strong and agile animals. One of the largest species, the Maiasaura ground sloth, weighed almost 3 tons and reached 4 meters in height. Despite its size, it could easily climb trees where it spent most of its time. According to scientists, it fed on leaves and young shoots. The life of a giant sloth probably resembled the life of modern three-toed sloths, although they were very different from their modern descendants. In fact, ground sloths were much more popular among prehistoric people than woolly mammoths. The thing is that they were much more common and much more accessible as they moved slowly and fed on high trees. So the hunter didn't have to spend a lot of effort. By the way, there were even special traps for catching giant sloths, which were set up right on the trees. A hunter could easily fall into such a trap. The giant sloth would simply pull him down from the tree and then eat him. That's why the natives revered these animals as sacred and tried to avoid eating their meat. Cave bear. This huge predator appeared on the territory of Europe, Asia, and North Africa. Its length reached 3 meters without its head, and its weight exceeded half a ton. Judging by the structure of its limbs and claws, the cave bear was a good climber, and it likely climbed trees in search of food. It probably fed on berries and fruits, but it could also eat small vertebrates. Some paleontologists argue that this predator wasn't a vegetarian, but rather a hypercarnivore. They came to this conclusion after finding traces of gnawing on the bones of animals that were supposedly hunted by Neanderthals. There is an opinion that it was these bears that people fought against in the caves. And it was this battle that became the prototype of the famous painting on the Lascaux cave ceiling. But scientists refuted this version. They found out that the cave bear didn't live on the territory of Europe in the Stone Age. So it couldn't have been a contemporary of Neanderthals. Yes, its remains were found in many European caves, but that was only because it liked to hibernate there. Smilodon. The Smilodon, or saber-toothed cat, is another famous inhabitant of the Ice Age. This beast hunted mammoths and other large mammals. Its fangs were really long sabers. They were curved inward and reached 30 centimeters in length. The skull of a saber-toothed cat was 70 centimeters long, and its shoulders were 1 meter apart. Unfortunately, we don't know what this predator looked like. Most likely it was something between a tiger and a lion. According to some reports, it was even larger than a modern tiger and weighed over 200 kilograms. Saber-toothed cats are considered one of the most ferocious predators of the Ice Age, although they lived next to even scarier beasts. Some scientists believe that the saber-toothed cat went extinct because of climate change, and some blame people for its disappearance. There is even an assumption that the saber-toothed cat survived on islands inhabited by humans, and it was the people who destroyed this species forever. The bones of this predator are found near human settlements, and there are reports that say they used its fur as a cloak. Irish elk. The Irish elk was the largest deer that has ever existed. Its antlers alone weighed over 30 kilograms, and its shoulder height reached 2 meters. The animal's legs were also very long. Such features allowed the Irish elk to move through tall grass and reach the most delicious plants. But of course it could be attacked by predators, so it preferred to protect itself by kicking with its powerful hooves. It's believed that the Irish elk went extinct due to climate change, but this is disputed. Some experts believe that people exterminated this species. After all, the elk was hunted for its valuable fur and meat. Others argue that the Irish elk just disappeared from the face of the earth. Since it couldn't compete with new species of predators and herbivores. American lion. Scientists have found that the American lion had a bite force comparable to that of the T-Rex. However, it appeared much later than the dinosaurs, and it's even believed to be the ancestor of modern cougars. But the American lion was much larger than its descendants. It had a stocky build, short legs, and a relatively small head. Scientists have suggested that this predator could have been active both during the day and at night. Judging by its size, it could hunt pretty large animals, but it was unlikely to attack adult woolly mammoths. Instead, it hunted bison, horses, and other herbivores. As for its roar, it was probably no louder than that of a modern cougar. Giant short-faced bear. The giant short-faced bear is one of the largest land predators in North America. It lived from the late Pliocene to the early Holocene. This is about 3 million to 200 years ago. During this period, our planet experienced significant climate change, and the bear managed to adapt to all of them. At first, it was the size of a grizzly bear. Then it began to grow rapidly and turned into a huge monster weighing 1.5 tons. The predator was aggressive and dangerous, and it hunted in packs, chasing herds of North American camels. Like all bears, it loved fish. Once scientists found the remains of salmon in its stomach. Today, scientists still can't figure out how such a large predator could exist unnoticed by archaeologists. Why weren't its bones found in ancient human settlements? One theory says that the giant short-faced bear went extinct after the Younger Dryas impact event. This event was caused by meteorites that fell to the Earth. They triggered a chain reaction, destroying all life on the planet. The other theory claims that the bear simply disappeared somewhere after the glaciers melted. Megatherium. In 1980, a skeleton of a strange animal was discovered in Argentina. Initially, it was thought to be a gigantic sloth, but it turned out to be something completely new. And so a new genus called Megatherium was created. It turned out that this creature was a relative of horses, but instead of slender legs, it had short limbs. Its neck was very short and thick, and its head was like that of a modern hippopotamus. Paleontologists assume that the Megatherium was bulky and awkward, and that's why it couldn't survive to this day. It's believed that the Megatherium went extinct during the last ice age, but its age is still unknown. It's possible that it lived for hundreds of thousands of years before it finally died out. Did you like these stories? Which creature frightened you the most? Tell us in the comments. If you like our videos, check out our channel. There you can watch more interesting videos about animals and wildlife. See you later.